Hello, I'm Kanisha Marie and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be dedicated to anyone who seeks truth and honesty, compassion, understanding, and respect, and peace. I wanted to share what it is that I personally went through, my own experiences and truth, and what I had found out and realized about not just myself, but the limiting belief systems that were put in place in order to control us. And the reason why I believed this was because I trusted and believed in a medical system that I thought would help to cure whatever it was they had diagnosed me with in the first place. But I'm going to have to start from the beginning, from when I was young, and realizing that I was different and the world around me was very different. And I had to learn about it the hard way. I mean, no one told me or taught me like how the world really worked. I had to figure it out for myself. Even my own family didn't understand me or could relate to what it was that I was going through at the time. But it starts off like when I was very small, I didn't know of my older brother and sister. I only knew of my parents, my younger brother, and my grandparents. It wasn't until I was around 4 or 5 years old where I had got to go to the Philippines to meet my big family and to pick up my older brother and sister, who are like 8 or 9 years older than me. And I had experienced trauma straight up at that young of an age, and seeing and experiencing like true fear, pain, and hardship. And I witnessed things that no child should ever witness or experience, especially that young of an age. And it kind of messed with me, but I kept it to myself up until I couldn't anymore. And when a child asks certain type of questions, like whether it's like, oh, we're playing a game that I don't like, or something to that nature, because we don't know how to like convey the message that we're trying to have our parents or loved ones understand without hurting ourselves or others by doing so. So yeah, the hurt and pain came with us on our way home because I had still been experiencing like bad things that no child should ever have to experience, from emotional trauma, mental, and physical trauma. And I had no way of talking to anyone about it because I was either told that I was a liar, or I wasn't allowed to express myself or feel because I was told I would get in trouble. And when you're young, that's what you don't want. You don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want to hurt anyone. You don't want to get in trouble. So I did what I was told and trusted and believed in people who were supposed to care about me that really didn't. I was used, abused, and neglected in so many ways, and faced so many difficulties and traumas in my childhood. But I hid it all from my younger brother to protect him. because he didn't deserve that. And I did so much to make sure he never felt what I had felt when we were younger, or I would stand up to the bullies and do good by him. Treated him well, gave him things that I wasn't given, whether it was advice, friendship, compassion, understanding, and just overall not doing what my older siblings were doing at the time. I understand that they had faced their own traumas because my parents weren't there with them when they may have experienced it, and I know they know what I'm talking about because I had lived it. Since I wasn't experiencing the same childhood my little brother was when we were young, I had to hide it. Like, when you're a girl, you're expected to cook, clean, do all the chores or whatever. And you're also, as a female, restricted from doing a lot of things that my brothers were allowed to do. And it wasn't fair. I did things like cooking and cleaning and taking on chores that were supposed to be done by my other siblings because I loved everyone and I didn't want them to experience hardship either, even if they were hurting me knowingly or unknowingly. I was bullied at home, I was bullied at school. It was kind of hard because around the time that I had picked them up with my mom from the Philippines, I was also starting kindergarten, and I didn't know how to talk to anyone but my parents and younger brother. And yeah, it was just hard. Even there, I was doing all the right things, treating people the way I wanted to be treated, doing all the right things, getting good grades, but still, it was really hard to make and keep friends because I stood out and I didn't quite fit in. Like, I had different gifts, talents, and abilities that I had no idea no one else had. I could see, feel, and sense things that I didn't know other people couldn't. And even though I kept my promises, and told the truth, and was completely honest, and wore my heart on my sleeve, and I only said things in order to get genuine advice from the people that I respected and trusted, I never received that. Instead, people would say like, oh, she's doing it or saying it for attention, or those things never really happened. Like, I wasn't believed in, and that was very painful. I was bullied for saying and doing things that were supposed to help myself and or others. I was taken advantage of, manipulated, used, abused, bullied. You name it. Like, I had probably gone through it. I had been molested and raped. I had been harassed, catcalled. I had even been bullied by people who were supposed to be my friends. And for some reason, a lot of people are just mean. Like, if someone's your friend, then you wouldn't talk badly about that person behind their back or use them in some way, or people only needed me when they wanted something or needed something. But when it came to me, when I needed someone, no one was really there. Even my family. There was a time where I had become very depressed and suicidal at times, and too young of an age. The first time I almost lost myself was when I was 10 years old. I was being told by my older siblings that I didn't deserve to exist, that I was a spoiled brat, and that it was my fault that my parents were fighting. And I just wanted to make it better. I didn't know what I did wrong, but I was blamed for a lot of things that I didn't know, like, what it was I did to them or said. But by the time I was in high school, by the time I was a freshman in high school, I had thought that I finally had freedom to meet people who I didn't grow up with that entire time, because my kindergarten through 8th grade years, I went to this school in Long Beach called Elizabeth Hudson School, which is a kindergarten through 8th grade school. So everyone that I had known there and grew up with, like, I just wanted a change of pace. I wanted to go somewhere different, but even though I ended up going to high school, I still ended up with the people that I had grown up with and maybe some other new ones. But I felt like my high school years were even worse. I was seeing even more bad influences and experiencing more difficulties, traumas, and hardships with no one giving me the proper advice. Like, I had to experience everything the hard way, and it was really messing with my mental and emotional health. Like, no one tells you these things, but whenever you experience difficulties and traumas in your life and no way to release it, there is a chance that along the line, along your years, you are going to manifest physical illness from not being able to release all that trauma and pain. And all these limiting belief systems and people labeling one another and putting each other in a box, like, oh, this is the Asian group, this is the popular group, or this is like the dance group, whatever you want to call it. There were groups that were formed, and I wanted to be friends with everyone and experience everything, but I still ended up moving from group to group, friend to friend, because none of them really stayed or stick. And that's where I experienced, like, how mean a lot of group of girls were. Like, even the people that I had grown to love and trust backstabbed me or had to say something negative about me, spread rumors about me, and even posted pictures of me that they had no permission to do because those were private. And, like, even sending my phone number to random people just to hurt me. and did a lot just to hurt me for no reason. Like, I don't know what it was that I did or said to deserve any of the things that I had gone through. And even when I shared my truth and sought advice, I was either called a liar or something else. And I couldn't speak to my family about it because I wasn't even close with them. Even though I wanted to be close to my sister. We weren't. Really. I kept her promises. I minded my own business. But still, there was always something. Even though I didn't do anything to deserve whatever I was going through. Since I was giving unconditional love to everyone, my family, everyone that I had met, I wasn't appreciated or respected in return, or understood, or even believed in. It was really hard. And the good things that I did didn't quite matter. By the time I was 16 or 17, I started losing, like, the things that I loved most, which was, like, playing sports like tennis. I got out of it because I had been bullied. I was, like, in tennis and very active, and even track and field from my freshman year and sophomore year. But even then, for some reason, my older siblings didn't want me being able to play the sports that I love for some reason. Like, they're always, like, going to my practices and spying on me, and then telling my parents, like, oh, I wasn't at practice, I was just hanging around with people, but we were all meeting up for practices. And I didn't understand, like, what it was I did for them to do that to me when my older siblings did their own thing when they were in high school too, and I didn't do anything to say that they shouldn't go or not do something. So it didn't make sense that I was restricted from a lot of things. I wasn't doing bad things like sneaking out of the house or going to parties because I wasn't even invited to parties when I was young. I mean, although I'd like to, like, back then, it wasn't really that for me. If I ever went to a high school party, it only started when I was, like, 16, 17 years old, where I was like, I'm getting picked on, blamed, and lied about, and no one really cared and loved me the way I deserved to be. I deserved to be treated with kindness, respect, compassion, understanding, and to be guided the right way. But because I wasn't feeling loved, I felt like there was something wrong with me. Like, no one liked me, so I must have been unlovable or something. And it made me not care about what I did anymore. So I started hanging around with the wrong people and trying to fit in. Later on, just doing things like sneaking out of the house, going clubbing at a young age. it's not that I wanted that, I just wanted to experience happiness, to feel something other than the pain and struggle that I had been feeling throughout that time of my life. Like, with every amazing experience that I had, there was often a very bad one too. And I hated the fact, and it's such a strong word, but I hated the duality. I hated the limiting beliefs that I was made to believe because I was taking on baggage that wasn't even mine. When you're told, like, oh, something runs in your family, or you're incapable of doing something, or you're restricted from doing something, it makes people rebel. It makes people not want to do certain things because they're restricted. And I notice so often when someone is told that they're not allowed to do something or don't do this, people usually do the opposite. They actually do it. Sometimes it's put there on purpose because they know that everyone is curious and wants to experience everything for themselves. And I feel like that's a system that was, and program that was put there for the very purpose to control us. And I had realized that it's people's music, like the music that we listen to, where people are either cussing, talking about sex, violence, like so many things that no one should be listening to, really, because it's a form of mind control. And it alters people's perception and beliefs because they're underlying themes and subliminal messaging. And the same goes for systems that require a lot of money, that don't have your best interests at heart or care about your well-being. And that includes, like, something I had gone through with the medical system. Like, my mom is a nurse, and I love the fact that she cares wholeheartedly about people and treating people with love and respect, and that's why I wanted to be a nurse, because I wanted to do what she did, which was help people. And I honestly thought that doctors help and cure people. It wasn't until I had studied to be a nurse, saw how they treated people. Not a lot of them treated the patients with respect. And a lot of the time, a lot of the things that the doctors say limit you. And growing up, I never wanted to experience what I was experiencing at the time. Like, my normal periods would be heavy flow and last like 2 weeks. Sorry, TMI. And they were also very painful. But that was my normal, but I was being told that it was abnormal. So they had put me on birth control and Vicodin at only 11 or 12 years old. And this was suggested by a doctor. And later on, I stopped taking it because I heard about, like, a birth control that was harming people, that they were suing, like, companies about, and so I stopped taking them. By the time I was 18 and 19 years old, I had conceived but lost my children. which was very hard and very difficult. And due to that trauma, I had not gotten my period back. And later on, when I was 19, around the end of that year, around the end of 2009, I had been diagnosed with no family history of this diagnosis, and like it was on a guess, like an educational guess. Like they were saying that, mind you, I was a healthy human being who was very active and going to school and doing a lot of things, exploring the world, living life to the fullest, and all of a sudden they're telling me I have a rare condition that does not run in my family called Budd-Chiari syndrome, which is blood clots in the liver. And instead of treating it properly, or like telling me like, oh, you're gonna be okay, there's a treatment that we do that can help you, or not giving the option of a healthier option, alternative. Like if they had given a healthier option or alternative, they wouldn't be getting the money that big pharma gets. Like there are doctors that are overpaid just by giving out scripts. And a lot of the drugs that big pharma give have really terrible side effects that kill people. And I was being tested on and poked and hurt constantly, and I was not a bad person. Like I didn't not listen to them because I trusted and respected my parents, who said that the doctors knew what was best, when really they didn't, because they weren't experiencing what I was experiencing. And once you're labeled as a patient, they start to say things like, oh, she's a patient, she doesn't know what's good for her, or something. Like they're going to say something to even my own parents, like I can't be trusted with my own health and well-being, as if I didn't have the options to go somewhere else or seek other treatments. Like I had to abide by these people who were hurting me. I was poked and tested on constantly. There were days where like I didn't sleep or eat. They numb the pain. Like they diagnosed me with chronic pain and they put me on like they were testing multiple different pain medications, and it was like some of them I could name was like tramadol, oxycodone, oxycodone, hydromorphone, morphine, fentanyl. Like they're hard narcotics. And on a 19-year-old, what do you think that does to the system? How does that change my body? Especially, they're giving me certain drugs that I had no idea what the side effects were. They just said, this is what it does. No actual explanation. You're just told what to take. I had lost the prime years of my life, the years that I should be having fun and enjoying life. I was miserable and constantly in pain and relying on these doctors who said that they could help, but really they were just either maintaining the sickness or making you worse. I went from no medication to 10 to 12 different medications, and a lot of those medications were given to counteract the side effects of the main medications that they wanted me to take. It made no sense. Like, how can you need all of these things and then later on, like, even the blood thinners were like too much. I was like getting really bad toxic side effects where they were asking me what I was doing wrong when I was just listening to them. I had to have surgery to get hematomas removed because my blood was too thin and all of these things, and had multiple surgeries. When I would stay in the hospital, I would stay as little as 2 weeks and at most 1 month. And that was like a constant for me. It was like almost like if it wasn't every month, it was every other month. And I hated going to the hospital because I was in so much pain over there. I had so much like anger because they would either disrespect me, neglect me, or they didn't listen or believe me. Like when I was asking for help, when we go to a hospital, we're there to ask for help and be treated with kindness and respect, but you're not really. Like, I had been poked so many times that at one point they couldn't even locate a vein properly because I had been poked so much and I was a hard stick. And there was one particular treatment where when I had gone to the emergency room, they had to poke me like 20 something times because they couldn't locate a vein or it kept blowing. So they had to get in my neck multiple times because they couldn't get in my legs or my feet, my hands, my arms. So they would resort to my neck. And it's things like this that I would never want anyone to experience. And for anyone to say that the hospital saved my life, no, they didn't. They ruined it. Because I didn't need all those things. None of it. I didn't need any of it, and neither does anyone else. They are so on the physical that they don't realize that they're the reason why a lot of people end up going. Like, it's not just physical trauma, constant physical trauma. It's emotional, mental. And you don't even know how to clear it. And I wasn't given the right advice or shown the right way. At some point, they were asking me what I was doing wrong in order to get worse. I mean, they were the ones that, once I was diagnosed with the Budd-Chiari syndrome, they were the ones that told me that I was only going to live until I was 24 because they had no idea how long I had it. And they assumed that I got the Budd-Chiari syndrome from the birth control in the first place. And it was something that they had given to me. It's not something that I had chosen for myself. It didn't make any sense. Like, these people are supposed to help you, but they're giving you pharmaceuticals that make you worse. They give you treatments that make you worse. When everyone is born to be able to heal themselves. Love heals all wounds, all sicknesses and diseases. Love cures all of that. But in a limiting belief system like the medical system, like, honestly, the medical system's only good for testing you, like telling you what your levels are or your labs. They're not supposed to give you a general diagnosis like, oh, you have this. Oh, what runs in your family? Because if it runs in your family, then you probably will get it. What you believe and what you perceive, you create. And they use you by creating diseases that you never really had. Or they diagnose you with a disease and then give you that disease through the pharmaceuticals that they're giving you. Or they tell you, like, you're not allowed to eat the good foods that you're supposed to, and you're being told to replace it with foods that are actually bad for you. It doesn't make any sense. Everything good in this world is absolutely free. We are all God's children. All of God's creations are made with unconditional love. Out of the highest vibrational energy, we are all made up of energy. And why would anyone think that God wouldn't give us the gifts to be able to live life to the fullest, free, without being able to self-heal? Like, haven't you wondered why children are able to heal so quickly? They're healing so quickly out of love. Like, a lot of them don't even go to the doctors. Like, they heal because their parents love them. And they know that they're going to get better because their parents tell them they're going to get better, and they believe it. I had to miss out on so many years of my life, 8 to 9 years of my life, trusting and believing in treatments that were hurting me, because by the time I was 24, when they gave me that expiration date, I was then diagnosed with kidney failure and heart failure. And when they asked me what I was doing wrong, I was only doing what they wanted me to do. I was taking the medications that they were prescribing me that were toxic to my system, that had really bad side effects, and they never really explained what the side effects were. They just give you these paperworks and say, like, oh, this is why we're giving it to you, but they don't actually, oh, but you don't have to take it because it does this and that. No, they don't give you that option. It's either you receive the treatment or you don't. That's it. And I can't stand for that anymore. I can't hear or see that my loved ones are being affected. Like, I had no idea that this is what my mom and sister had been going through. Constant testing and, like, constantly being tired and overwhelmed and thinking that our bodies are against us and not functioning properly, when in reality, I feel like those people who were feeding off of the negative energy that we produce from whatever it is that we're experiencing, they're just using us for money, for their own personal gain, because nothing that I had experienced throughout that many years of my life were ever positive. My life wouldn't have needed saving if they hadn't told me that my body wasn't working right when it was. If I didn't trust and believe in these doctors that were saying that they were helping me or curing me, who diagnosed me with things that were not real, is really messed up, and I don't want that for anyone else. I had to look for answers for myself. It took a long time because I was pretty much giving up on my life, because at some point they were even offering me to kill myself. Like, oh, it was legalized already that you can euthanize yourself if the pain is too much. And I even said that to my family. They didn't know. The pain and the suffering that I was going through, at least not really. Yeah, they saw me crying a lot and begging and pleading, but no one actually sought another alternative to healing. There are other doctors and practitioners out there who love and care for you more than you do yourself, and it took me time to find those people, but I did find them. And some of them were doctors or nurses, scientists, you name it. Like, there were kind, loving people who found alternatives and provided it for people to find. But when you're not given an option, you don't even seek. So it took for me to hit rock bottom and losing everything. Right now I'm still in a transition phase where I'm still trying to fix everything. And my life's a mess. Well, I'm still trying to fix it. And because of everything that I had gone through, even my own family don't believe me or believe in me and what it is I say and do now. Now that I know the truth, now that I know that there are alternatives, now that I have been healed by these alternatives, I went from not being able to conceive at all to getting my period back, after they had told me that it may never come back because of the hormonal imbalances. They weren't even treating those hormonal imbalances. Like, along the way, I even developed an autoimmune disease with hepatitis. And they wondered where I got that from. But obviously, I'm being poked with needles all the time by them. But yet, it's still my fault. Oh, and they would accuse me for things that I never did. Like, when you're not believed in for all that time, I nearly gave up. I had multiple near-death experiences. All I wanted was to be loved and respected and to be treated and healed. They were making me, like, lose faith in God, because some of them was like, oh my God, you're so young, God must be punishing you or something. And I believed them, because there were a lot of people hurting me. Even my own family didn't know how to talk to me. Like, when I got sick, like, I didn't see them often, like, even then. Like, they would stay for like 5 minutes, leave, but most of my time, I was alone. And my partner at the time, well, he's still my partner even now, like, been experiencing this with me most of the time. Like, I have never felt so alone before. It took a long time for me to love myself, because I wasn't receiving the love that I needed. My needs were not being met. I was not being healed or cured. I had to give in and let go and let God actually guide me. And that's when I started looking on the computer for multiple things. Did so much research and found, like, different quantum healing modalities, which I want to share with the world because it healed me. Like, I'm the living proof. I went from needing a new heart, like they were putting me on the transplant list for a new heart and new kidneys, to not needing them anymore. All my labs are completely normal now. Once I stopped doing all of the pharmaceuticals, when I stopped trusting and believing in people who didn't have my best interests at heart, I stopped, like, doing whatever they were telling me to do as far as what it was I was supposed to eat. I still ate all the fruits and vegetables they were saying kidney patients shouldn't eat. And look at me, I'm getting my health back without them. Like, the healing modalities that I had researched and came upon, they teach you how to heal yourself without the use of going to a medical doctor. And these practitioners showed me so much love, kindness, and respect. And I had wished I had found them sooner, because they're the best things that happened to me in my life. And I don't ever want my family who don't believe in me yet to experience all the hardships I had, and I see a lot of them going that way, and I don't want that, because they don't deserve it. And this is me protecting everyone that I care about, everything that I care about. Even animals. Like, you can heal your own pets. They had taken the years of my life where I should have been learning what it is I was passionate about, the jobs that I wanted to do. Like, at some point, I wasn't even allowed to drive my car because of the medications that I was on. There was like so many things that I wasn't allowed to do. And I hated it, and I wanted the truth, and I found it. And that's what my channels will be dedicated to, is giving the truth. That way, once people know the truth, they won't have to support things that aren't good for them. The reason why I changed my whole outlook on life, my belief systems, and my perspective on things was to heal properly. There were toxic foods that people are aware of that's causing heart disease, diabetes, and kidney failure. You name it. But there's still a demand for it. As long as people don't know the truth, there's always going to be a demand for something. The same goes for anything. Any negative belief systems where it requires like a shitload of money, excuse my language, a buttload of money that isn't for your own good. Like, there's so much. The reason why I became a vegan is because I know what's being put into my body. There's specific stores that I go to who sell nothing but organic foods, because I know that it came from the earth. The only problem is with organic foods is that, hello, it's absolutely free. Our earth produces these things for free, so why are we paying for it? And the same goes for money. The same goes for water. Water is absolutely free. People are just too lazy to locate it and filter it themselves. That, or like, where are they hidden? Where's all the water at? Like, where are all the foods being produced? Why is it not normal for people to be self-sustainable and having their own gardens in the front yard? Like, if everyone had everything that they actually needed in their lives, from the foods that they eat to the water that they drink. And money wasn't an issue if everyone was abundant, like producing their own stuff and just trading goods rather than thinking that they need to steal things in order to get what they want. Like, if these limiting systems didn't exist, if we weren't restricted from living out our lives the way we want to live it, there wouldn't be problems. Like, even grown-ass adults aren't allowed to live out their lives because there are systems in place and people who are ignorant and judge, manipulate, and do all the bad things and then blame it on someone else when it's their doing. I can't stand by that. Like, I see the world for what it really is. I see past all of the lies. I know when someone is trying to deceive me. I can feel it. I can sense it. And the same goes for being intuitive and being empathetic towards anyone and anything. And I feel like that's why it's been so hard, is because I can feel people's emotions and what they think of me. And even when I try to change people's beliefs and perspective of me and show them the real me, they would either call me fake or, I don't know. Like, really. When I would ask, like, I'm a good person, what is it that I'm doing wrong? Like, I do the opposite of my older siblings. I'm a giver. I don't like taking from people. I don't like asking people for help. I like helping. It never made any sense to me why I was treated so badly. And even when they were hurting me, I still let it happen because they were my elders and I was supposed to respect my elders. They are my siblings. I'm supposed to love my siblings. Like, even if I were to tattletale or call the police or something, I wasn't protected properly. And it manifested all of these illnesses. And it sucks because I'm seeing that, okay, with men, they see that, like, showing emotions, crying, or whatever, like, telling anyone what's going on with them is a sign of weakness, and that's not true, because look at what good it did me for bottling up all my emotions and feelings. And even when I did state my emotions and feelings, I still wasn't treated right. When you're supposed to be able to release all the stress and worry, and I'm seeing that my little brother, he doesn't even know that I know what he's going through, and I could see it in his body, like, I can see that he needs healing, but he doesn't trust me to do it because of what I had gone through. As if I don't know what's best. I'm saying and doing things out of love and respect. And I love him so much, but he's not hearing me or seeing that I'm only trying to do good by them. I'm experiencing all these things, and I know that these things work. I just so badly want to help. I so badly want to be believed in and trusted, and to achieve my goals and dreams, and to experience heaven on earth. But heaven isn't heaven without my family in it. And it's not just my family here at home, but it's everyone. It's all of you. It's even our earth, even the animals on this planet. Like, I have so much love and compassion for everything. I just want peace. I just want justice. I want respect. I want honesty. I want so many things that's good in this world. I have nothing but the best of intentions. And I want to show how you can heal yourself. On the proof, there are hundreds and thousands of people doing this work, like, and I want to be able to bring it to everyone. If anything, these healing modalities could be added to the medical system. That way everyone has options. It's not they could go hand in hand. No one has to cut it off completely because they still don't trust or believe in these things. They need physical proof or to experience it for themselves. Then go for it. I would be more than welcome to provide all my research and everything. I have so many ideas. I have so many goals. I have so many missions and purposes in life that I want to fulfill. But I can't do that without support. Whether it's on Patreon, GoFundMe, Instagram, like even just sharing what it is that I do, or what it is that I can do to help or serve you. Like, it's not just for me. Yes, I'm on this healing journey. I'm going to be showing you how I do it. That way, if you want to follow along and do it for yourself, you're more than welcome to. This is not just for me, it's for everyone here. And I know that everyone is capable of healing themselves. You don't have to get healed by someone else. You can learn how to do it yourself. And if you do need healing from someone else, it won't have to cost you an arm and a leg to do it. Most of all, like, I want to be a better and positive influence on younger generations who need guidance, like my own nieces and nephews. Like, I could see them going through traumas, being afraid of things when they shouldn't be. And there are treatments for that don't require them going to a doctor. With the love of their own parents, they can be healed. And because children know nothing but unconditional love for their loved ones, they should be learning the right way to healing themselves and others. And there's schools for these things. You can get certified for these healing modalities and be the proof and amaze so many people. Because of my difficulties and circumstances at the moment, like, I'm unable to pay for those actual schooling, so I'm learning through me going through the treatments myself. And that's why I'm able to help others, is because I had learned it and experienced it in person. It's one of my goals to get certified in all these healing modalities. That way I can be someone who does it for my community. Where I'm able to show the proof through my own family members and loved ones. To reconnect with my soul family and be a true healer. And be the living proof. All I want is to succeed and be able to heal the world the way I know I can. I know that I was made for this. Because I've been on this spiritual path for a while. And to discover your mission and purpose is like living your dream come true. It's just bringing it into this reality that I need support in doing. I had been through a lot, but if it was all worth it just to be able to find answers and find the truth and be able to experience it firsthand. God lives through us, even the difficult times, but God doesn't give you anything that you cannot overcome. And I'm a fighter. I survived multiple near-death experiences to come to this. And going from 3-day-a-week treatments to 1 day, and soon enough I won't need it anymore. Through all of this, it would have been worth it. Even all the hard times, because I was able to learn how to heal your emotional field, your emotional body, your physical body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. All the aspects of yourself, because we're multidimensional. I was able to learn, like, as easily through videos and meeting the right people and researching the right topics to come to this. I know that I'll make a difference. And I just want the chance to prove it. I'm sorry this is a really long video, but it was worth being said. Love you. Till next time. With love and light. Bye.